if you're going, what is your view of the Bible?
Mm,
Meaning, if you're saying if you don't spend time in God's word, well, that's an assumption that you and I are making that a mature believer would be spending time in the word. But then that begs the question, what do you think about God's word?
yeah, I
What's
really
your
like
view
this
on,
question.
is it
Yeah,
infallible? Does that matter
right.
what they think?
Yeah, so I'm a literalist. I believe it's word for word. I don't think you could cherry pick, but I believe that you should understand cultural context. So Paul says, slaves obey your masters. We have to understand when it was written and what would happen if all the slaves rebelled. So I really feel like I think that that question is good because everyone should have an opinion. If they're like, "Whoa, God wrote the Bible and it was inspired," it's kind of like, okay. But I think I'm willing to tolerate someone who's like, well, there was lapses in time. Did God make heaven and earth in 7 days, or was a day representative? Did that word have different meanings? So it could have spanned 1,000 years. That's why I have dinosaurs. Like, I'm totally okay with that. But I really think you should think it out, right? It's the one thing we have, the whole representation of our faith system. You should probably know what you think, right? And if you don't, that's just like they're just basic. Not to this sounds terrible. I sound so
I,
judgmental.
I love the way you word that. I will echo everything you said. I would not date somebody because we disagree on, is it a literal 6 days or not? I'm not going to die on that hill, but I am going to die on the hill that if you think a lot of the Bible was written to people 2,000 years ago and it's not applicable to us today,
Yes.
that is a line I can't live with, because if you don't believe the Bible is, if God did not reach out from space and time and come in here and speak to us, if his word is not relevant and you can start cherry picking, well, then we'll never be able to have any debate, because you're just going to say, well, I believe this, and then I'll say I believe this. And if we're not coming from the same place that
Yeah.
we're going to attempt to get our theology from God's word, well, then we don't have a lot in common.
Yeah. And that's scary because say you're committed to that person or say you get married and there's those discrepancies. Well, the Bible's usually what you come down to when you're going through hard things. Like, so if you're like, we don't know, this is hard, well, what does the word say? If you are fully committed to the truth of that word, then how is it going to guide you? Right.
That's
And
right.
I'll go one step further. What drives me nuts even more than that is people that add to or say the Bible is a evolving piece of work.
Right.
There's churches, I believe it's the Congregational Church, that's their they put that out in a press release.
Yeah.
So I keep sorry, I keep going blurry. There you go. So yes, I agree. It's like the importance of the Bible is huge. It sounds so simple, like, oh, if you're a
It
Christian, but
sounds simple. It's really
yeah,
complex, because
yeah,
if you can say, I mean, and I'm not trying to get super political in this, but I'm going to give it a real world example. Either God condones or vilifies, whatever word I'm looking for, homosexuality, or he doesn't.
yeah,
Like, God's not up there. If your view of God is that he gave people thousands of years ago a rule, but he didn't give it to you, or and that was a bunch of dumb people who were uneducated back then, we know better now.
mhm,
Well, that's putting your brain above God's brain. I'm like, well, you and I are going to have nothing in common, because
yeah,
I hold God's view and his laws so high that he knows more than I do. And if you believe we know more than that
yeah.
literature, well,
And
then
then where does it end, though? You could apply that
where
to
does
any.
it end?
So women, I would have a hard time trusting a Christian man that believed that way because it's like, well, then your truth is relative. And so does that transcend to marriage and how you behave in a marriage context and
That's right.
what you look at, if you're not held to a standard that you believe is infallible, then I don't want to like follow you, that's scary.
You're 100% right, and it is. You're right. It's a slippery slope, because
Yeah.
if you start picking and choosing what you think is right, well, then where does that slippery slope end? And
Right.
I don't want to get too much into this weed. We're going to stop this rabbit trail here in a second. But if you believe that everything is relative, then why would you even waste time calling yourself a Christian?
Exactly. It's
Because
a mystery.
it
Well,
either is true or it's not.
sound good. No, I think that's the cultural Christianity thing, right? Because
Right.
it's like, oh, you're good God people stories, like it's good American, the flag, and we love God. I think it
Or,
just checks the box for people.
well, okay, I'm going to jump in my notes because I think it fits right here. And it's one of my flags is, if someone, and I'm not going to talk about right or left yet, we will, But if somebody can't separate American culturalism, nationalism from Christianity, giant red flag. Because if you think that churches need a flag on their stage, and then we're going to talk about politics all the time, that isn't for me, because you are picking the parts of the Bible you want. And it works. That knife cut both ways, because I know people who would swear on a stack of Bibles that if you love the Lord, you will never vote Democrat. And I know people who would say, if there's no way you love the Lord, and you would vote Republican.
I do too.
And they both swear they're right. It's like, I'm
just
studying.
Hyper focus on it, right? And I think it got melded in. It's like there's politics and religion, and there's always a way to have grace and be loving. And it's so out of control in the last 10 years. It's so sad, because I love talking about politics, but you can't do it. You can't do it.
Hey, it's ToddTurner. Are you struggling with life after your divorce? I've created a divorce recovery class just for you. It's filled with honest, raw, real content to help you walk through your divorce healing. Enroll today at ToddTurner.com. There's more where this came from. Stick around. You got this.